Hi everyone, I'm John C. Morley, the host of the J Moore Tech Talk Show and Inspirations for Your Life. Hey guys, welcome everyone. It is John C. Morley here. This is the J Moore Tech Talk Show. Today is Friday, March 21st, 2025, which means it's time for another J Moore Tech Talk Show. We air every single Friday night. This episode is called, yes, Tech Tidbits, Apple AI, and the Future of Innovation. We are on series number 4, and this is show number 12. Welcome, everyone. Feel free to get yourself something delicious and yummy from the kitchen. Maybe it's something hot, maybe it's something cold, maybe it's something sweet, something tart, healthy or not. Totally up to you. I am your host, John C. Morley, serial entrepreneur. It is so great to be with you guys. I hope that you will enjoy this show and much of my other great content at believemeachieve.com. I'm not only a podcast host, but I'm also a podcast coach. And welcome to the J Moore Tech Talk Show. All right, everyone. It's time for that weekly dose of all things tech, the breaking news and innovation that is currently shaping our world. From Apple's big moves to the latest in artificial intelligence and cybersecurity. I've got it all for you, and it's all right here in this show. So don't miss out on all the insights every single week right here, including the latest iOS update, Facebook Live video changes, OpenAI's new direction, and so much more. So you can listen now, get the scoop, and of course, you can catch the replays on believemeachieve.com. So our first topic for today is Apple. So Apple re-enables the Apple Intelligence by default with the latest iOS update. So Apple has made a major change, unfortunately, in its latest iOS update, re-enabling the Apple Intelligence by default. Now, this move aims to improve overall device performance by utilizing machine learning to enhance user experiences, making your iPhone smarter and more efficient in predicting your needs. Unfortunately, it does turn on the Apple's iOS AI. And the question you might be saying is, how do I, disable the Apple AI from, auto turning on? That's a great question. The thing is, how to turn off Apple Intelligence? Well, you can actually open settings or system settings and choose Apple Intelligence or Siri, turn off the Apple Intelligence option, confirm your choice in the dialog, and it'll appear by tapping when you turn off the Apple Intelligence option. Unfortunately, when the phone goes through an update, well, you are going to get the Apple Intelligence turning back on. I hope they'll eventually fix this, but unfortunately, that is a problem right now. And ladies and gentlemen, if you are on Facebook, yes, and you do lives on Facebook, Facebook will start deleting those lives 30 days after the broadcast. I actually did a broadcast on my birthday on February 21st, 2025. And today is the first time that they are going to be deleting one of my broadcasts per this new rule. In this move to maintain a cleaner, a more streamlined platform, Facebook is beginning to delete live videos 30 days after their broadcast. So this shift is designed, as I said, to reduce clutter, improve content curation, ensuring only the most relevant and, of course, important live broadcasts remain accessible to users everywhere. So I know this might be a challenge for some people, but hey, when you put a live out there, remember that live is there to captivate people at the moment. And basically, after 30 days, the content is pretty much old. All right. Our next story comes to us from Mr. Elon Musk and OpenAI. So OpenAI and Musk have fast-tracked this trial over OpenAI's shift to a for-profit model. The ongoing legal battle between OpenAI and Elon Musk has intensified as two parties fast track a trial concerning OpenAI's transition to a for profit model. Now, this trial will likely shape the future of artificial intelligence, particularly in OpenAI companies, in the balance of profitability and public good. The question you might be asking yourself is, why does Elon Musk want to block, OpenAI from going public? That's a great question. Musk had filed a lawsuit against OpenAI and Mr. Altman, claiming they had breached the company's founding contract by putting commercial interests ahead of public good. Unfortunately, when people create something, they say they're doing it for one reason, either to, let's say, avoid certain types of tax allegations or fees that they have to pay. When you do something as a think tank or a not-for-profit, it allows you to exist and be under some more liberal rules as opposed to a for-profit corporation. Vice President J.D. Vance expects a framework for resolving TikTok's ownership by April 5th, everyone. This framework will be in place to resolve the issue of TikTok's ownership, and this decision comes amidst growing concerns over national security and, of course, data privacy that's been lurking regarding the popular social media app's ties to China, ByteDance, corporate company, to basically step up to the plate or step down. Apple's secret appeal against the UK encrypted data access order raises privacy concerns. Apple's quiet legal battle against the UK orders demanding access to encrypting data has raised serious concerns about privacy rights. The appeal could set a dangerous precedent for tech companies as it challenges the balance between law enforcement needs and individual privacy protections. Apple plans to add live translation for their AirPods, right? Apple is looking to take communication to the next level by adding live translation capabilities for the AirPods. And this new feature could revolutionize how we interact with people across the globe, making it easier to bridge, let's say, the language gap and barriers and enhance real-time conversations. I think that's going to be something really, really cool. The question you might be asking is, when, and this is a great question, when do Apple's new AirPods with the language translation come out? So they haven't given a date yet to when, but they're saying it will be in iOS 19, which is supposed to come out later this year. Who knows whether that's Q3? Who knows whether that's Q4? I don't think we're going to see it, anytime before June. I could be wrong, but it's later. When they say later, I think we're talking like Q3, Q4. So we will definitely keep you abreast of what's happening there and what the Apple Translate feature will do on the Apple AirPods. My concern, though, is this going to open up Pandora's boxes for security? I'm concerned about that. So we'll have to just keep you in the loop about what's happening there. And India, yes, India plans to limit satellite broadband licenses to 5 years, challenging Starlink's, which is a big problem for Mr. Elon Musk. India is set to impose a 5-year limit. And so this could be this could be a very, very big problem. A big problem for a lot of people because I think, it's an issue. And not only is it about money, it's about security and things like that. It's going to be a problem. It's going to be a big problem. And this new rule may require adjustments to its business model in India, potentially impacting its long-term plans. Alfonso, a robot waiter who's delivering not only orders, but serving up smiles and delights to customers in the UK at their cafe. A UK cafe and a robot named Alfonso is helping to serve food and drinks, assisting staff and providing an engaging experience for customers. The robot waiter, designed to deliver orders efficiently, is capable of interacting with patrons in a friendly manner, creating a unique atmosphere as robotics and AI continue to merge their way into our everyday life. Alfonso is a glimpse into the future of customer service, where automation and human touch work together to improve efficiency and our satisfaction. The Iran drone uses surveillance, and I think this is a big issue for a lot of people that they don't quite understand where this is going, why this is going somewhere, but it is definitely a very, very big problem. And so Iran uses drones, surveillance apps, and facial recognition to enforce dress codes. In Iran, authorities are using drones, surveillance apps, and facial recognition technology to enforce the country's strict dress codes for women. These tools enable the government to monitor public spaces and identify individuals who are not adhering to the dress code, potentially leading to legal consequences. The use of such technologies has sparked debates over privacy, freedom of expression, and the role of technology in enforcing societal norms. I know what you're probably saying to me. What are the dress codes for women in Iran? And that was the first thing that came to my mind, too. In Iran, women are expected to keep their legs covered down to their ankles. And they wear loose tunics or coats with long sleeves to cover themselves. So people ask me, are jeans illegal in Iran? Wearing jeans, leggings, ripped jeans, and loose skirts and dresses is allowed. Women also have to cover their hair using a headscarf or a shawl, which can be purchased at any market or shopping center in Iran. It's acceptable to show the front part of your head and wear the shawl halfway, as many Iranian women do. So, can women in Iran wear makeup? There's no punishment specifically for wearing makeup in Iran, but women are expected to dress modestly and may be punished if they are deemed to be dressed immodestly. What happens if a woman doesn't wear a hijab, which is what they actually call this? Well, while the hijab requirements were already mandatory under Iran's Islamic Penal Code, this new law introduces dramatically harsher consequences, and violations can now result in extended prison sentences of up to 15 years and substantially increased fines. Can girls wear shorts in Iran? Well, traveling to Iran means respecting its unique dress code, especially for women. In Iran, women are expected to keep their legs covered down to the ankles and should wear, like I said, tunics that are loose, coats with loose sleeves. Do female tourists have to wear hijabs? Whether female tourists need to wear a hijab depends on the specific country and the region they are visiting, with some areas requiring it while others do not. I think the question about this, my big question is, why is Iran so strict about women's dress code? And I think it's been something that's been around for a long time, and they're cracking down on it. And it's more of a control, I think. And I think that it's putting a lot of pressure on women and their families, and it's just something their parliament is choosing to do. And again, they are using drones and intrusive digital technology to spy and see whether women are actually wearing the appropriate clothing. And if not, well, they can be fined. Witnesses have said that a 22-year-old person was badly beaten by the mortality police during her arrest, but authorities denied she was mistreated and blamed sudden heart failure for her death. Her killing sparked a massive wave of protests that continues today, despite threats of violent arrest and imprisonment. 2.5 years after the protests began in 2022, women and girls in Iran continue to face systematic discrimination in law and in practice that permeates all aspects of their lives, particularly with respect to the enforcement of mandatory hijabs. So they are, let's say, redoing things, and I think it's all about a culture of respect. I think that's why they're doing this. I think it's a little harsh, but again, this is what they're deciding to do. And the Roblox CEO advises parents to keep kids off the platform if they are truly concerned about their safety. The CEO of Roblox has issued a public statement advising parents to keep their children off the platform if they're concerned about safety. Roblox, a popular online gaming and social platform, has faced criticism over issues such as inappropriate content. Um, and That's a big problem for a lot of people. And so this is what he's saying to do: keep your children off the platform if you're concerned about safety. Again, it's a popular online gaming social platform. It's faced criticism over issues as inappropriate content, online harassment. With an ever-growing user base, the platform is under increasing scrutiny, and the CEO's warning reflects the company's recognition of the importance of safeguarding young users in the online world. Whenever you have some type of a public thing, I think it becomes very hard to enforce this. I mean, I think that's what it comes down to. It can becomes very hard because when you think about, what it is, I think it becomes hard because a lot of people just don't understand that, this is the culture, this is the way people are behaving. And I think that can be, I think that can be a big problem for, a lot of people, and they don't necessarily know why it is, but I know that a lot of people out there don't like sometimes what some governments do. I mean, that just kind of, that's kind of the be all end all, I guess I would say to you guys. But, the question is, how do you handle stuff like this? Because, it's very misleading. It can cause people to feel, I guess you'd say, uncomfortable. But my big question comes back to is, is the why. And the why in this case, ladies and gentlemen, it comes out because of control. That's the main reason that this whole thing comes to pass. It's about control. And control is something that I think a lot of people don't really understand, but it's something that I think more people need to understand because governments are doing this, all over the place. And is it really for the protection of the people? No, of course not. It's not for the protection of the people. It's actually there because they want control. And so I think when we use technology like AI and drones and facial recognition, I think there is a problem with that. And the problem I have is that we are disrespecting people's privacy, right? That's just my personal thoughts. And I know that that is a big problem for a lot of people. But the fact that the CEO of Roblox stepped up, and the thing you might be asking me, and it's a very, very good question: how does Roblox make their money if the platform doesn't charge to play games? Well, that's a great question. So Roblox earns money by selling Robux, Robux, which users spend in experiences on items and assets in their marketplace. It's all created for you to play in, and they're always searching for new ways to increase creators' earnings. In 2024, a creator community earned 923 million. Let me say that again: 923 million, 923 million, and they paid their developer community close to 3.3 billion in 2018. So they have something called in-game purchases, such as the virtual items, game passes, and developer products. And they're always working on new monetization strategies. Does Roblox take something? Yes. You can also choose to sweeten the deal by including some additional Robux, but keep in mind that there will be a 30% transaction fee removed once the offer gets accepted. So you can choose to sweeten the deal by including some additional Robux, but you can keep in mind that there will be a 30% transaction fee that will be removed once the offer gets accepted. On the smaller deals, they tend to charge people a lot of money. So in-game purchases play a significant role for Roblox revenue stream. With millions of users on the platform, the opportunities for developers to monetize their games are immense. Developers can create and sell various in-game items such as clothing, accessories, and even special abilities using Robux as the currency. So Roblox remains, they claim, unprofitable, which I don't understand how. The company posted a consolidated net loss of 221.1 million in Q4 and an improvement from a 325.3 million loss in Q4 of 2023 for a full year net loss of 940.6 million compared to 1.16 billion in fiscal year 2023. Something seems wrong. Like, it doesn't seem legitimate there. So is Roblox making money now? Well, they're the biggest game in the world, but it isn't profitable because it reinvests heavily into its growth. So my question is, how does a company keep staying in business, like, and investing all that, if it's not making money? I find that to be a problem. So other people have asked me, does Roblox have content that is not appropriate? And so, yes, there have been some experiences on Roblox that include some types of weapons and violence. They don't allow content that contains violence or anything like that, or serious physical or psychological abuse, including animal abuse or anything like that, or anything that would be considered illegal. And so they have a lot of rules on Roblox, and they have to comply with their restricted content policy and community standards. They won't allow language that's used to harass, discriminate, incite violence, or threaten others, or used in any adult context manner that would not be appropriate for minors. So restricted experiences are not accessible in certain regions. Rule 11 in Roblox, due to things happening in the Roblox game, you're required to follow the same Roblox rules there. Roblox deems punishable what they call Rule 11, general rudeness and cyberbullying. Do not trash talk or bully anyone in the server. If you have an issue, speak to a staff member. So let's just take a look. What are Roblox rules? Let's take a look at what they are. So no harmful content, no illegal activities, no personal information disclosures. Users cannot reveal or threaten to reveal others' personal information. No account takeovers or false reports. Basically, threatening to take over another account or file a false abuse report. It's also against the rules. No discrimination, no harassment, no impersonation. Impersonating individuals, groups, or entities in ways that could damage their reputation or cause others harm is also prohibited. No inappropriate content. That is obviously important, especially content that would endanger minors or children. No Roblox created assets. Creators cannot use any Roblox created assets or official Roblox branding or iconography as part of their items. Not permitted. No overly similar items. So if somebody else creates something, well, sorry, you can't create that same Roblox item because it's too similar. No clickbait or false claims. Advertisements that falsify, represent content, or encourage clicks solely to inflate ad clicks are not permitted. No promoted sales for charity. Creators cannot claim that sales of an item will go towards a cause, even if it's true, as Roblox cannot verify the legitimacy of such claims. Thus, they do not allow you to do a sale for charity, so they just don't allow it. Content maturity, age appropriate ratings. They have ranges for all ages or 9+. They have a restricted access group for under 9. And then they have a no rate experience that prevents children under 13 from accessing areas that would lack age appropriate rating settings. Enforcement, they have moderation. Roblox moderates content and user behavior to ensure a safe and positive environment. Users can report violation of the community standards or terms of use. Violations are dealt with based on the severity of the violation and the threat to the Roblox community. My question is, will Roblox ever make money? And this is interesting. They're the biggest game in the world, but they are not profitable. So the question I have is, who owns Roblox? The owner of Roblox is David Baszucki, who is the co-founder and CEO of the company. He co-founded Roblox in 2004 along with Eric Castle. While Baszucki is the primary figure behind the company's ownership, Roblox is now a publicly traded company, meaning it also is owned by shareholders. The real owner, as I said, is David Baszucki, and his vision is to build a platform that enables shared experiences among billions of users, not thousands, billions, The company has been widely recognized for its innovation and vision under Bazooki's leadership. Um, the question people have asked, will David, shut down Roblox? This has been a rumor for a while. So no, Roblox is not going away. The game will stay available and players will be able to play at their leisure. There are no plans to close the platform or any of its services in the foreseeable future. So you may continue to play Roblox. They're saying you can play it at school, home, or work. I don't think I'd advise playing it at school. Wouldn't advise playing it at work as well. The question is, this is a big question for me. Will Roblox ever be popular? And it's rising. The community is growing so fast. According to Statistica, the platform has seen almost 27% rise in the daily users from Q4 2023 and beyond. People ask, is Roblox dying? No, it's not dying. It's continuing to grow with significant increases in revenue, bookings, and whatnot. So you might be asking, what is Roblox trading at? So Roblox right now, it's on the stock market, right? In case you're wondering, and it's currently up. It's $60.62, of course, at the time of this stream, but it could change. So it's up 4.6 something percent. Keeps fluctuating now between 60.58, 60.57. So the question everyone asks is, why is Roblox so popular? It's because people can play a wide array of games without any upfront cost. They can make it so they can create their own games, their own Roblox maps. And this is what people want. And eventually, I would say just because a company's not profitable doesn't mean that the staff is not getting paid. That's the thing you have to understand. The staff is getting paid at Roblox. So they might not be a profitable net at the end of the year, but that might be something that they have kind of designed. I don't know. It just seems odd. So a software bug was recently found at Metaphor and exposed NHS patient data to potential hackers. A software bug at Metaphor, a UK-based healthcare provider, has exposed sensitive NHS patient data to potential hackers. The flaw, which affected the security of patient information, raised alarms about the vulnerability of healthcare systems to cyber attackers as more healthcare service transition to digital platforms, ensuring the security of patient data as it becomes a critical concern for everyone, with incidents like this highlighting the need for stronger cybersecurity. And I know what you're probably saying to me, hey, John, this is very, very interesting. And although it's interesting, it's a problem. It is something that is growing and it's something that is becoming a very, very big problem. And Apple, yes, Apple's voice-to-text system misinterpreted a voicemail into a very inappropriate message. Apple's voice-to-text system, designed to convert voicemails into written text, has made a notable error by misinterpreting a message into something very inappropriate. This mistake has sparked discussions about the accuracy of voice recognition technology, especially in situations where context is crucial. As a voice-to-text system becomes increasingly integrated into daily communication, these types of errors raise questions about limitations of AI and machine learning in understanding nuanced human speech. And is this something that we can trust? Those are questions that I think are going to continue to compound. And so we'll have to keep an eye on that, but it's definitely something that I think is going to be very, very interesting. And ladies and gentlemen, nine United Kingdom banks face millions in compensation after IT outages disrupt services. 9 UK banks are facing millions of pounds in compensation claims after IT outages disrupt services for thousands of customers. These outages cause significant delays in transactions, accesses to accounts, and other banking services, leading to frustration and, of course, financial losses for customers. The incidents highlight the growing dependence on digital infrastructure in the banking sector and the need for robust systems to prevent such disruptions. And I think this is something that a lot of people maybe don't realize is that although, this stuff has been happening in the UK, it can just as well be happening in the United States. See, hackers don't just hit up the United Kingdom or other countries, right? So we'll definitely keep an eye on that and let you know what's going on. At New York City's MTA pilots a new Google AI project to detect subway track defects. This is pretty interesting. New York City's Metropolitan Transportation Authority, MTA, is basically piloting a Google AI project aimed at detecting defects in subway tracks. The AI system uses advanced imaging and machine learning algorithms to identify potential issues before they become major problems, enhancing the safety and the reliability of subway systems. This innovative approach could revolutionize how public transit agencies maintain infrastructure, preventing delays and ensuring a smoother commute for passengers. I'm curious about your thoughts about this and what MTA is going to do with Google's pilot track system. And this is something that I feel is interesting, but I think it can't be a be all end all, right? So the MTA, as I said, has partnered with Google's public sector on a pilot program designed to detect track defects before they cause disruptions. So Google Pixel smartphones retrofitted on subway cars. Basically, the system is capturing millions of sensor readings, GPS locations, and hours of audio to identify potential problems. The project aims to improve the efficiency of MTA's response to track issues, potentially saving them money and also reducing delays for passengers. So it's not just doing this with cameras, it's also doing it with sound. So this AI powered program called Track Inspect analyzes the sound and the vibrations from the subway to pinpoint areas that could signal defects such as loose rails or worn joints. Data collected during the pilot, which ran from September 2024, and basically has just about gone to its end in January 25, showed that AI systems successfully identified 92% of defect locations found by human inspectors. The system was trained using feedback from MTA inspectors, helping refine its ability to predict track issues. While the pilot was considered a success, the future of the program remains uncertain due to financial concerns at the MTA. Despite this, the success of the project has sparked interest from other transit systems looking to adopt the similar AI-driven technologies to improve infrastructure maintenance and reduce delays. The MTA is now exploring other technological partnerships to enhance its track monitoring and maintenance efforts. So I think a program like this would probably be interesting if they implemented this maybe at like the music park, like a Great Adventure or a Busch Gardens or something like that. I think that could be, really cool to understand. But I think AI, again, AI is a tool. And that's important. It's a tool, and we have to know how to use that tool. And, the question you might be asking me, it's a very good question. What did the MTA Google Track pilot cost? Well, it was actually offered at no cost to the MTA. And it was so successful that New York's transportation agency has announced it's continuing the work with Google in a new pilot program. So again, the original one ended in January. They're doing another pilot, and it looks like they're not paying yet. But I think the real reason that Google is doing this for free is they want the notoriety. They want to get into other places. So I think that's a big concern for everyone. And hopefully, this will spark other things like, maybe Google might approach amusement parks because we're talking about the same things. Maybe they can identify certain parts of the track that are a problem. I think it's going to become harder on a track because right now the tracks are just put in, but I think eventually each track is going to have to be identified. Maybe it's going to be a foot long track and it's going to have to be identified so we know what part of the track. It might even be so picky as to identify every like rail of the track. So if there's spokes, maybe it's on that, maybe it's on turn points. It could be on a lot of different things. And I feel that although this technology is good, I'm very concerned about where this data is going. what they're going to do with it. I think that is a big concern of mine. Um, I remember the first time I stumbled across an emerging trend that completely changed the way I thought about innovation. It was probably back in the early 2000s when smartphones were just starting to get traction. I was amazed at how quick mobile technology transformed the way we live, communicate, and work. I was actually one of the thought leaders on the BlackBerry Sidekick board when they made Sidekick before they actually had BlackBerry. It was interesting, but unfortunately, I had to move over to the iPhone, which I do like, all because I was starting to use apps like things like it was actually like Lyft and stuff like that, and they weren't available on BlackBerry. I think BlackBerry really missed the boat, unfortunately. BlackBerry was so secure; it was more secure than anything. I was amazed at how quickly mobile technology had transformed the way we live, communicate, and we work. Every time a new episode, as you know, of the Jay Moore Tech Talk Show drops, I feel like I'm uncovering another game changing moment. Much like those early days when I felt like anything was possible in tech, I can't wait to share more insights, as you know, not just today, but every day. And I think it's these personal stories that I can relate to with my insights and now going back to school and getting my master's at Montclair State University and then eventually getting my PhD. I think it's these moments that make me not just an interesting content creator, but one that gives me a true flair of authenticity about things that apply to real life. And as I said, Apple re-enables the Apple Intelligence by default with the latest iOS update. And I had my iPhone, last one I had for a couple years. I remember the first time I felt like it was learning my habits. That had to be probably on my second iPhone. I think I'm up to like my seventh or eighth iPhone. I noticed how Siri became increasingly efficient predicting the apps I might use, offering suggestions at just the right moments. But the iOS updates that made Apple Intelligence the default setting made my phone feel almost human, like it knew me better than I knew myself. It's like having a personal assistant who anticipates your every need. And it blew my mind about this technology. It was almost scary in a way because I think it was trying to think about things. And I think that's a problem. I think we need to keep AI in a certain realm. And I feel that's a problem for a lot of people. And when I heard about Facebook deleting live videos 30 days after the broadcast, I wasn't crazy about it. A few years ago, I went live. Actually, it's been over 4 years that I went live on Facebook the first time. And I was hosting this. I think the first thing I went live for, I think might have been the Jay Moore Tech Talk Show. At that time, guys, I wasn't so into. I was always into video production, but I didn't really have my following. I didn't have. I had a weekly show, but I didn't have Inspirations for Your Life. And so I went live on Facebook. It was a very exciting moment for me. But I realized that it wasn't easy to keep up with the engagement or even remember everything from the broadcast. When I heard about Facebook's decision to delete live videos after 30 days, I thought about how much pressure we often feel to create evergreen content that everyone's just going to love. It reminded me of how our digital footprint can sometimes feel overwhelming. And maybe it's okay to let go of some of these things after they've had their time in the spotlight. But I think sometimes it should be more. I think maybe it should have been 90 days. That's my feeling. Or maybe 180 days. And I get that they need to clean things up, but I just think 30 days is too long. People have hustle and bustle in life and they just miss things. OpenAI and Musk fast tracking a trial over OpenAI's shift to the for-profit model. This is just interesting. The story reminds me of a heated debate I had one time with a close friend about the future of artificial intelligence. I was advocating for innovation and development, while my friend was worried about the ethical implication of AI-driven business. When I heard about the legal battle between OpenAI and Elon Musk, it was as if our discussion had come to life in a full circle. It's an important moment in tech history as it pushes us to think about what drives innovation, profit, or purpose. And I remember talking to somebody the other day. It's actually a doctor, a client of mine that I've been working with for many years, and just talking about the concept that do we need to fear AI? I don't think we need to fear it, but I think we need to be responsible in how we create AI. All right. I think that is a very, very important point. And, hearing about Vice President J.D. Vance expecting a framework for resolving TikTok's ownership by April 5th, that was interesting. A couple of years ago, a similar drama happened when I was working with a tech startup, and that was at the center of a privacy debate. I was working on a project and a product with one of my companies that gathered user data. And figuring out how to balance privacy with business goals felt like walking a very, let's say, fine line or a very hard to walk tightrope. When Vice President JD Vance announced that a resolution on TikTok's ownership would be coming soon, it struck a very emotional chord with me. It's a challenging decision, as we see with TikTok. Balancing user privacy and business interests is an ongoing complex issue. So, does TikTok have a new owner yet? Well, right now, no. Um, and so they're working on this. And do I think they're going to find somebody? I think they will. I think Trump's probably at the bottom of it or the head of it. And when I heard about Apple's secret appeal against the UK's incremented data access, raising privacy concerns, there was a time when I faced a situation where I had to decide whether to share personal data for a security reason. It was a difficult choice as I weighed the potential benefits of helping the law enforcement agencies against my concerns about privacy. When I heard about Apple's legal battle over encrypted data, I thought back to the moment privacy is such a fundamental right. And this case highlights how easily tech companies can be caught in the middle of protecting users while also being pressed for transparency. I was recently having a conversation with a president the other day of an organization, and I was talking to him about, there's a lot of great things you guys do here, but a lot of your technology and your whole fight for being transparent, although it's what you want and it's what you preach, I don't feel like you are transparent. And I wanted to bring this to your attention. He says, John, that's an excellent observation. And the reason I share this with him is because I think they push transparency so much, but they fail every time. He says, yeah, John, it's because we have so many antiquated systems and it's taking us a while to review them, and then we're going to replace them within a couple of years. But what I don't want to do is replace those systems with something that is going to be a newer technology and be what we have or worse. So we're just copying what we have. We want to make sure those systems align with everything. I think that's important. And hearing about Apple's plans to add live translations for AirPods was exciting. When I traveled abroad a few years ago, and then many of you know that I have traveled. My first trip to Europe was actually when I was in 8th grade. My grandfather on my mom's side of the family and grandmother and cousin we went to Italy because we had family in Italy. And that was an interesting experience. And I found myself fumbling through translation apps and even a little book to communicate with the locals. There wasn't any translation tools like we have now, or we didn't even have an iPhone back then or any phone that could do translation. The language barrier was frustrating for me and challenging. And I kept thinking about how much easier it would be if there was a tool that could just translate in real time without the need for an app. I remember being at a school doing a play for a charity, and the bathroom was closed because they were doing maintenance on the men's room. So I wanted to ask the janitors where the next bathroom is because I had no clue, and the school was huge. And I said, I can't just go up to them and ask them where the bathroom is. I mean, I can try. So I did. And they didn't understand me. So I went to my phone and I used, like, it was Google Translate. And I said, hey, such and such, translate this into Spanish and read it back. And it read it back, not just put it on the screen. It read it back. And then when they said it, they were able to tell me exactly where it was, and they showed me. So I think those are important things. And so, when I heard about Apple's plan to add live translation to AirPods, I couldn't help but imagine how much simpler travel and communication would now be. It felt like something out of a sci-fi movie that was finally becoming reality. But I have a concern, and my concern is my privacy. That's a big concern of mine. India, as you know, plans to limit the satellite broadband license to 5 years and challenging Mr. Musk and his company Starlink. few years ago, I was working with a rural community that had very limited internet access. And we explored options like satellite broadband, but service was inconsistent and the costs were higher than really expected. I remember trying to bring cable into somebody's home that lived literally about 2 miles from the street, and it would cost them $1,000 just to bring in cable at that time. And they would have to pay for it because they were the only property back there. So that's why they would have to pay for it. Big problems, right? And so we explored options, as I said. When I heard about India's decision to limit satellite broadband licenses, it reminded me of that struggle. It's clear that satellite internet needs to evolve and be more sustainable. Um, and this decision reflects a larger issue about how we can provide affordable, okay, reliable internet to underserved areas. I remember just a few years ago, I believe it was the Affordable Internet, the Affordable Internet Act was removed. And you might say, gee, John, why? So they had an affordable connectivity program and it died, and thousands of households have already lost their internet. The ACP provided affordable internet connectivity to low-income Americans since it expired in May, not too long ago, just last year. Around 100,000 charter subscribers have had to pull the plug. And it's sad that that had to happen. It really, it really is. But nevertheless, maybe something like that will come back. Who knows? But I got to tell you that it's important that everybody has access to the internet. You can't even get a job today very easily without having access to the internet, right? So it's clear that satellites need to evolve and they need to become affordable. And imagine this, as I said, Alfonso, a robot waiter assisting staff and delighting customers at a UK. This was really amazing. Not too long ago, I visited a restaurant that had these integrated robots in Naples, Florida, to deliver food to tables. It was a novelty at first, and I wanted to go there because of the robots. But as the evening went on, I started to appreciate how efficient and friendly the robot was. Now, all this robot did was simply show up at my table, and the server still had to take the food and put it on there. So it wasn't a full-fledged robot, but Alfonso actually is a full-fledged robot that can actually do more than what some of these table servers can do. And it got me thinking about the future of customer service and how robots could actually improve experiences. Rather than just replace human workers, Alfonso the robot waiter feels like the next step in the evolution. It's exciting to see technology enhance. It brings smiles to people in many different ways, and it's cool. Hearing about Iran using drone surveillance and facial recognition to enforce dress code for women, this is just sad. It takes me back to a trip I once took to a country with strict public behavior rules. The idea of surveillance was all around, and it made me feel constantly observed. I wasn't doing anything wrong, but I always felt like I was being watched. I remember questioning the balance between personal freedom and the desire for security. Now, with Iran using drones and surveillance technology for dress code enforcement, it's a stark reminder or a flashback of how powerful technology can be used in ways that affect our personal lives and freedoms. It's unsettling to me, though, that it also makes me reflect on how vital it is to safeguard privacy in an increasingly monitored world. I think that's important to understand. And we know many kids play with Roblox, and the CEO now advising parents to keep their kids off of it if they feel there's a safety issue. I'm not a parent, but if I was, I would be cautious about kids spending their time online. I remember the first time I saw children playing Roblox. It was fun, but I had concerns about the online interactions they were having. Hearing the Roblox CEO's advice to parents gave me a pause. It made me think about the responsibility of tech companies in creating safe environments for younger audiences. Who are they interacting with? Who are these people? And they're sharing things personally they're not supposed to. As much as we embrace technology, it's crucial that platforms remain vigilant and protecting their users, especially the vulnerable ones, because I think minors and kids don't know about this. They're just wanting to play a game. And the software bug I heard about that exposed the NHS patient data to potential hackers, that's just wrong. When I heard about that software bug at Mediford, I immediately thought about the impact it could have on trust within the healthcare system. The idea that personal health data could be exposed due to a bug is terrifying. And it serves as a reminder of the importance of cybersecurity in the healthcare industry. And hearing about Apple's voice to text system recently with the inappropriate message, I had a funny but awkward situation where my voice to text system completely misunderstood my voicemail and sent a message that was way off from what I intended. I had a good laugh about it. It was not inappropriate, it was just funny. When I heard about Apple's misinterpretation with this elder person, I thought back to the moment that it was funny, but how something that could be funny could also be translated as something that could be rude and inappropriate. And it's amazing when they work perfectly. But when moments happen, it reminds you that AI is not perfect. It's a tool and it's constantly getting better. 9 UK banks, we heard recently, faced millions in compensation, as I said, in disrupted services. I remember the time when I tried to transfer funds for an urgent payment, but the banking app crashed, or it says the mobile app is currently unavailable. I'm like, well, now what do I do? Right? And I had to wait hours for it to be resolved. Instead of that, I decided to show up to the bank and just make my withdrawal right there and then. It was frustrating. I couldn't help but feel powerless as I had to do something. Hearing about the IT outages affecting UK banks and their compensation plans took me right back to that moment saying, I need to be proactive. As much as I like technology and it's a convenience, I have to realize that if it doesn't work, I can't be lazy and say, all right, I can't do it or I can't make the deposit withdrawal because technology doesn't work. That's a big problem. And the last story comes to us again with my personal antidotes is the NYC's MTA piloting the Google AI project to detect subway track defects. And my personal antidote. I've been on subways countless times in New York and many other places in the world, but there was one instance when I was stuck in a delay because of a track issue. It made me realize how much technology could improve the reliability of public transportations. When I heard about the MTA's partnership with Google AI to track the defects in their tracks, it reminded me of the potential for AI to make our daily commutes safer and more efficient. I'm excited about how tech like this could change the way we experience public transit. I'm also excited because if this bridges to things like amusement parks and other places where there could be dangers, it could even be used in public buildings to see if there's potential dangers. Could be a stair, could be an elevator, could be a walkway, an escalator, could even be a loose tile. AI can be used in so many different ways, but I think what we have to make sure of is that we're going to use it for this. We have to ensure that the data it's capturing is isolated, that it's not grabbing personal data. And that's where we all have our problems, right? The personal data doesn't mean to get picked up, but surprise, it does. Now, many of you out there have probably experienced AI before. And you might be asking a good question. Do we need to fear AI? Um, and it's often discussed. It's based on lots of things. People fear job displacement, lack of control. These are just a couple: privacy and security, autonomous weapons, right? Super intelligent AI. And of course, there are reasons to not fear it. Enhancements of human capabilities, personal enhancements, improved efficiency and productivity, problem solving, creating new opportunities, new types of jobs. So instead of fearing AI, it's crucial to approach it with a mindset of understanding and responsibility. Just like with any powerful technology, the way we use it matters. We need to prioritize ethics, regulation, and transparency to ensure that AI benefits society as a whole, while also addressing the concerns that come with it. The key is to strike a balance between innovation and caution. And I think that's important. As I've worked with AI and watched its development, I've come to realize that we're not in a situation where we need to fear AI, but we need to be mindful of how it's integrated into our lives. Embracing its positive potential while ensuring we protect our rights and freedoms is the path forward. Just like using a tool. It could be a saw, it could be a drill. You might say, oh my gosh, this is a really dangerous drill. Or maybe even, let's say, some type of a torch, right? Of course, there is a danger in these things, right? But what we focus our mind on, we've learned in the past, is what brings about our reality. That's the truth, guys. That is what brings about our reality. And if we bring about our reality in that kind of way, I feel that it's going to not only make us feel more comfortable, but it's also going to give us the transition that, hey, this is a bridge. This is how I can make this work, right? I think that's something that is very important for a lot of people to understand. Um, going back and going to get my degree, master's in AI and then my PhD, I feel that doing that, I'll be able to make a big impact in the world. I'll be able to share things. And also, being a keynote speaker and taking that into my keynote repertoire, I think a lot of people speak because they want to pat themselves on the back. I'm not looking to do that. I'm looking to give value to the world. Of course, I charge for it. But all these shows that I put out, all this content at believemeachieve.com, all this is free. And I do this because I think it's important that people understand how technology works, what technology is, what technology isn't. There's a lot of misnomers in the tech world, unfortunately. And these misnomers get us to fear things, all right? And this fear comes in for one main reason. It's because people don't know. And what people don't know, you might say, gee, John, that's no big deal. Yes, I could say that to you, but I won't, because you have to understand what you don't know. When you don't know how something works, you become very fearful of it. You do. Once you know how it works, it's like, oh, I get that. I understand that, right? Does that make sense to everyone? I mean, I hope it does. I hope that you embrace this whole concept of what this means. And, taking the time to understand what's in your life, how technology is being used, I think that is a major key player in our lives. A major key player. If somebody come up to me and say, hey, John, what is artificial intelligence? Artificial intelligence is the culmination of data that is, let's say, searched and built upon based on algorithms, which means it could be added, it means it could be changed, it could be deleted. But the data comes from humans, or the data comes from the real world, like we learned from the Google project, like the cameras on the phone, but also the sound, any kind of things that we could take. And we could even take smell to be part of AI, right? I mean, we could do that. And if we take smell to be part of AI, I think that's something that maybe people don't realize, that all these things have so much potential in them. I mean, they really do. If you think about AI right now, the first thing that comes to your mind is, oh my gosh, how do I get a job? Well, don't fear AI. Use AI to be a tool, right? Don't fear it. Ladies and gentlemen, I am John C. Morley, serial entrepreneur. It's always such a privilege, a pleasure, and honor to be with you here on the J Moore Tech Talk Show. Be sure to check out BelieveMeAchieve.com for more of my amazing, inspiring creations. Take